Many manufacturers of high-tech equipment tended to specialize in one particular area. Some chose land speeders, some opted for small starfighters, and some built larger warships with crews of several hundred or several thousand people. This made construction easier, as droid production lines could be easily retooled and reprogrammed to produce a number of variants on the same general design. Golan Arms chose early on in its history to produce weapons, but instead of concentrating on a particular niche market, like handheld blasters for instance, or spacecraft weaponry, it decided to spread itself across the entire range of destructive machinery. Thus, it was quite possible for a being to have carried a Golan FC-1 Fletcher launcher as a personal weapon, while serving aboard a Golan 3 orbiting planetary defense station. Of course, this required investment in many individual production lines running at different scales, but it did provide some resilience against market fluctuations, as well as giving a measure of insurance if the facilities on one planet were disputed by, say, the planets having been blown up by Imperial forces. The Golan Arms DF-9 anti-infantry battery sat in the middle of Golan's product range, being considerably larger and more powerful than a Fletcher launcher, but significantly smaller and less capable than an orbiting defense station. It was designed originally for the Separatists during the Clone Wars for use as a fixed defense against attack by unmounted clone infantry, and so was optimized against light personal armor rather than thicker vehicle casing or electromagnetic shields. Despite being a CIS weapon, it soon found its way into the arsenals of both sides in the Clone Wars and, much later, the Galactic Civil War. The DF-9 was a tower about 4 meters tall and 2.5 meters across at the base. It tapered slightly toward the top and was fitted with a rotating turret within which was located a single DF-9 laser blaster cannon. The entire unit was constructed of a durasteel and was protected by low-powered proton shields. An access panel at the front provided admittance for the 3-person crew, a gunner, a targeting operative, and a technician whose job was to monitor and regulate the integral generator. The DF-9 could fire single laser bolts with a refresh rate of around 3 seconds. The bolts were accurate to within a few centimeters out to the maximum range of 16 kilometers. Although the beam diverged and degraded slightly with range, and the best combination of accuracy and maximum energy on target was achieved at a range of around 3 kilometers. Due to an ingenious piece of design on the part of Golan Arms, the impact of the laser beam on most target materials gave rise to an intense and highly localized secondary blast of radiation, so that even personnel who were not directly hit by the beam could be destroyed or incapacitated by its effects. A single laser bolt had a destructive effect on personnel out to a range of around 8 meters from the point that the bolt hit. Thanks to its robust construction and lethal effects against personnel, the DF-9 was sold widely around the galaxy. Any concerns the company might have had regarding their involvement with both sides during the Clone Wars were quickly allayed, and the company went on to achieve significant early market penetration with expanding Imperial forces. The sight of Imperial bases surrounded by DF-9s did more for Golan's reputation than a million sales brochures. However, many Imperial personnel in positions of authority had a vested interest in arms manufacturers run by their own friends and relatives, and Imperial contracts started going not to the best companies, but to the best connected ones. After the loss of several large deals, Golan made secret overtures to the Rebel Alliance, and its products were soon put to use against, rather than in support of, the Empire. The Rebels were initially pleased with the DF-9 anti-infantry battery, which they used to protect many of their high-priority bases, but they soon discovered some of its disadvantages. For instance, the turret on the DF-9 could only rotate to a span of 180 degrees, meaning that rather than having one unit located in the center of a base, the Rebels had to mount 4 or 5 around the perimeter. For the cash-strapped Rebel Alliance, this presented a major problem that, for the immensely wealthy Empire, had never even registered as an issue. The DF-9s were also almost useless against armored vehicles such as AT-ATs, and completely useless against attacking spacecraft, meaning that extra and complementary systems such as the Atgar 1.4 FDP tower had to be purchased as well. Lastly, the DF-9 shields were were no defense against the firepower carried by AT-ATs, which resulted in their rapid destruction when Imperial forces closed within range. Several variants of the DF-9 were constructed by Golan Arms in response to specific customer requirements. The twin DF-9, for instance, had 2 laser cannons and an upgraded weapons system, meaning that it could fire at over twice the rate of the original DF-9. The SP-9 consisted of a DF-9 mounted on a repulsor sled, providing it with some limited maneuverability. However, it would never replace any of the purpose-built ground attack vehicles in use across the galaxy. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about the Golan Arms DF-9 anti-infantry battery as used by the Rebel Alliance in the defense of Hoth in Episode 5. So if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to support the channel, and stay up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.